Hello and welcome to Solent Sports News. I'm Billy Taylor and these are your top stories. Scotland fans will be waking up with sore heads this morning as the men's national team qualified for the delayed Euro 2020 Championships after beating Serbia 5-4 on penalties in Belgrade. It is the first time the Tartan Army have qualified for a major tournament in 22 years since the 1998 World Cup in France. Midfielder Ryan Christie scored Scotland's goal and was reduced to tears at his team's achievement.
It's been a horrible year for everyone. We knew that coming into the game we could give a little something to this country, and I hope everyone back home was on my party tonight.
Scottish National Party leader Nicola Sturgeon took to Twitter to congratulate the team on their success. She tweeted, "Massive congratulations to Steve Clarke and the team. After 22 years, the Scotland national team men are off to a major tournament. What a lift for the country." It has been announced this morning that Republic of Ireland midfielder Alan Brown has tested positive for COVID-19. Brown played the full 90 minutes at Wembley in the 3-0 defeat to England. The rest of the squad and staff for Ireland returned negative tests. Harry Maguire, Jadon Sancho and Dominic Calvert-Lewin were the goal scorers for England in a routine win. Tottenham Hotspur forward Son Heung-min has won the October Premier League Player of the Month award. The South Korean totaled up 4 goals and 2 assists in just 3 games, which saw Spurs earn 7 points, including the 6-1 thrashing of Manchester United at Old Trafford. Meanwhile, Wolves boss Nuno Espirito Santo has won the Manager of the Month. His side picked up 10 points in 4 games across the month. The second practice session at the Formula 1 Turkish Grand Prix is underway. Lewis Hamilton looks to tie Michael Schumacher's record of 7 world championships this weekend, but faces stiff competition from Red Bull, who led the way in the first session earlier on today. Max Verstappen was top of the standings at the Istanbul Park circuit, with teammate Alex Albon in second and Charles Leclerc continuing Ferrari's resurgence into third. Diving is another sport which has been greatly affected by the coronavirus pandemic. Southampton Diving Academy coach Brandon Foster told us about his struggles in motivating his students, especially with mental health being so prominent during this time.
I can just imagine being 10 to 12, being stuck in for 5 months, not doing the sport I love. It's horrible. So, I mean, you can only do a certain amount of Zoom calls, but the mental health on the kids was just, it was horrible, really. I tried staying in touch with the divers who I coach, and they were just getting demotivated. Finding just any motivation was just so hard. And then eventually when we got back into the pool a little bit, it was just kind of picking up scraps off the floor, really. That's what it felt like being a coach.
The NFL divisional title race has hotted up after a massive win for the in-form Indianapolis Colts. A 34-17 victory over to the Tennessee Titans sees the two sides level at the top of the AFC South after 10 weeks, with Colts quarterback Philip Rivers moving into 5th place on the all-time passing yardage list in the process. In cycling, Great Britain won 2 gold medals and 1 bronze on day 2 of the European Track Championships. Eleanor Barker was the star for Team GB, winning gold in the women's elimination race. We are also across local stories today. Our reporter Tom Creswell is at Eastleigh Football Club. Tom, what have you got lined up from Eastleigh today?
Well, we've been interviewing a couple of the academy staff members. We've had an interview with Jason Brooks, the under-18s manager who oversaw the FA Youth Cup run, and we also have an interview with Jason Bristow coming up. He's the head of the whole academy there, so we're going to get an insight into what they think about the lockdown and how that's going to affect the youth teams.
And what's the mood like at the club following the penalty shootout defeat in the Cup last weekend?
Everyone's pretty upbeat about it. No one's really viewing it as a defeat as such. Everyone's sort of looking at it as we held a League One team to 0-0, earning the first clean sheet of the season, and then lost through penalties was just unlucky, really. Everyone's quite upbeat about it.
Thanks, Tom. We'll have more from you later. Day 2 of the Masters is underway. Day 1 ended prematurely due to bad light, and those who are yet to complete their first rounds will pick up where they left off. Paul Casey was the overnight leader on 7 under par, 2 shots clear of the field. Jack Sell can bring us up to date with what has been happening in the early stages of Day 2.
Yeah, that's right, Billy. Players back out on the course, finishing off those first round, as you mentioned. Poor conditions yesterday. Bad light meaning the play finished around 5 PM local time. Obviously it is November now, so less daylight hours. Notable players that back out on the course, you've got Rory McIlroy. He's at the 11th. He's got about 7 holes to go. He's struggling at the minute. He's 1 over par. Dustin Johnson he's playing with is parred the first of his day. So yeah, looking at the overall leaderboard, as you mentioned, Casey's 7 under par. It's actually looking like a historic opening round at the Masters. There could be the most under par players ever. There's 50 under par players at the minute, and the previous record was 38, set back in 2009, and that looks like it's going to be obliterated today. Obviously, heavy greens due to the rain yesterday morning. That meant it was easier for the golf course, or easier to play on the golf course. Lee Westwood's up there. He's on 4 under par. You've also got world number 2 John Rahm at 3 under par, and obviously a lot of players under par ready to make their moves up the leaderboard on day 2. Billy.
Thank you, Jack. We'll have updates from Augusta later in the day. Looks like a potentially record-breaking day there. That was your 1 PM roundup. Coming later in the day, we have the full story from Eastleigh, as well as updates from Hamble FC and an exclusive interview with GB diving hopeful Matthew Dixon. Thank you for listening. More from us in an hour.